Have you ever told yourself, "I'll do it tomorrow. It can wait"? A fleeting promise, harmless at first glance, yet quietly stealing the most precious moments of your life. Imagine this, while you're still scrolling endlessly, sketching plans that never begin, or waiting for that perfect moment that never comes. Somewhere out there, someone else is already building the future you've been dreaming of. And then one day, as the sun sets and the gates of opportunity close, you look back and realize, the thief was never time. The thief was procrastination living inside you. We've all said it before, haven't we? I'll start tomorrow. I'll get to it later. It feels harmless, almost nothing at all. But what we fail to see is that every later chips away a small piece of our life. Hour by hour, day by day, those pieces vanish. Until one morning you wake up and realize the future you once dreamed of no longer waits for you. Time slips away while we get lost in endless videos. Days fade while our plans remain untouched. Years disappear while we keep waiting for perfection. But perfection never arrives. Every single one of us is given the same 24 hours. The difference is simple. Those who value time rise to the heights of success, while those who squander it burn in the fire of regret. The top student and the one who fails both hold the same hours in their hands. The only difference lies in how they choose to use them. And this is the story of Ethan, a boy who discovered this truth the hard way. A story that might hold up a mirror to your own life. Because this isn't just a tale, it's a reflection of the choices we face every single day. In a quiet little town, surrounded by rolling green hills and the whisper of trees in the wind, lived a boy named Ethan. He had everything a child could ever wish for: loving parents, devoted teachers, and a warm home filled each morning with the smell of freshly baked bread. Ethan was bright, quick-witted, and kind. But behind his gentle smile, he carried one fatal flaw: laziness. For Ethan, procrastination wasn't just a habit, it was almost a way of life. When his mother asked him to clean his room, he smiled and said, "Later, Mom." When teachers gave him homework, he thought, "There's still plenty of time." When friends invited him to try something new, he shrugged and replied, "Maybe tomorrow." Days turned into weeks. Weeks stretched into months. While his classmates learned new skills, improved their grades, and discovered hidden talents, Ethan stayed in the same place, comfortable within the circle of his endless laters. His parents grew increasingly worried. His teachers scolded him again and again, and everyone repeated the same warning: time is precious, don't waste it. But to Ethan, those words were like raindrops sliding down a window, heard but never absorbed. He thought the adults were simply exaggerating. Then one day, after failing yet another exam, Ethan walked home beneath the fading sunset, his heart weighed down by disappointment and emptiness. That evening, he made a choice. He would visit the wise sage who lived at the edge of town, a man people said could answer life's deepest questions. When Ethan arrived, the old sage was sitting peacefully beneath a great banyan tree, the evening breeze whispering softly through its leaves. Seeing the boy's sorrowful face, the sage smiled gently, his eyes filled with warmth and kindness. "What brings you here, my son? Why do you look so troubled?" Ethan sighed, his voice heavy with frustration and despair. "I'm tired. I'm disappointed. Everyone says I'm wasting time. But I don't understand why it matters so much. I'm still young after all." He lifted his head, speaking with a kind of false confidence. "I have my whole life ahead of me." The sage nodded slowly. His eyes shone with deep understanding, yet his voice carried a weight of seriousness. "Ethan, I know you are a smart, quick, and kind boy, but you carry within you a very great problem." The boy frowned, confused. "A problem? What problem could I possibly have? I have loving parents, caring teachers, good friends. I already have everything I need." The old sage smiled gently, the kind of smile that seemed to have witnessed countless lives rise and fall. "Let me tell you a story," he said softly. "A story about a poor and lazy man. Perhaps it will help you see what you are unwilling to see today." Ethan fell silent. His eyes widened, his heartbeat quickened. He leaned in, eager and anxious to hear every word. The sage began, his voice slow yet hypnotic, as though each syllable carved itself deep into Ethan's mind. Long ago, there was a benevolent king who ruled over a prosperous kingdom. This king was not only powerful and mighty, but also renowned far and wide for his kindness and generosity. He loved his people dearly, cared for the poor, and sheltered the kingdom as a father would protect his children. To speak of him was to speak of compassion that never ran dry. One day, while strolling through the bustling marketplace, the king heard angry shouts echoing through the crowd. People shrank back in fear, parting to reveal a man screaming in desperation. The king stepped forward to see what was wrong, and then his heart froze. The man was no stranger. He was a childhood friend, someone the king had not seen in many years. But he was no longer the vibrant boy of old. Standing before the king was a broken man, poor, unemployed, his eyes hollow with hunger and exhaustion, his clothes in tatters, his voice trembling between bitterness and despair. He had lost all dignity, barely surviving each passing day. The king's heart ached as he approached, his voice warm and filled with concern. "My brother, it has been so long since we last met. Tell me, what has happened to you?" The poor man trembled, his eyes wet with tears. "My king, I do not understand why everyone sees me as useless. Every time I ask for work, they reject me. They say I never finish tasks on time. And now, I don't know how to feed my family. I feel like nothing more than a failure." The king's compassionate heart tightened with sorrow. He placed a firm yet gentle hand on his friend's shoulder and said, his voice steady but full of empathy, "My friend, I want to help you. Tomorrow at sunrise, come to my palace. I will open the gates to my treasury for you. From dawn until sunset, you may take as much gold, silver, and jewels as you wish. All of it will be yours. But remember this well. Your chance lasts only for one day. When the sun sets, the gates will close forever." The poor man's eyes lit up, shining with hope. For the first time in years, he fell to his knees in gratitude, his heart soaring with joy and dreams of wealth. On his way home, his mind overflowed with visions of treasures and the rich life awaiting him. The next morning, the first rays of sunlight stretched across the sky. But instead of rushing to the palace, the man leaned back and thought to himself, "The whole day lies ahead of me. There's no need to hurry. First, I'll enjoy a fine breakfast." Ethan held his breath as the sage paused for a moment, his deep eyes fixed on the boy. "Can you guess what happened next?" the old man asked softly. Then, without waiting for an answer, he continued the tale, revealing the bitter truth the man would soon face. The man sat down and ate slowly, savoring every bite as if time itself would wait for him. The warmth of the porridge, the rich flavor, it made him linger even longer. After finishing, he leaned back, telling himself, "I still have plenty of time. The treasure won't disappear. I'll rest for just a little while." He lay down, intending to nap for only a few minutes. But when he opened his eyes, the sun had already climbed high into the sky, blazing fiercely as if to scorch the earth. Panicked, he cried out, "Oh no, I must hurry!" He stumbled toward the palace, but the relentless midday heat drained his strength. Sweat poured from his brow, his legs grew heavy, and his breath came in gasps. Glancing at the burning sky, he consoled himself once more. "The treasury won't run away. I'll just rest for a few minutes under this tree, then I'll continue." He sank beneath the shade of a tall tree. The cool breeze brushed his face, lulling his weary body. His eyelids grew heavy again. What was meant to be a short rest turned into deep sleep. When he finally awoke, the sun was already sinking in the west. The sky burned orange and red. Nightfall was near. In a panic, he leapt up and ran toward the palace with all his strength. His heart pounded, his breath ragged, his legs weak. But as he arrived, the massive gates were already closing. Desperate, he cried out, "Please, open the gate. "The king promised me the treasure." The guard looked at him with pity and shook his head. "Yes, the king promised, but only until sunset. Now the sun has set. The chance is gone." The man fell to his knees, tears streaming down his face. He realized the bitter truth. He hadn't lost his chance because of bad luck. He lost it because of procrastination, because he convinced himself there was always more time. The sage stopped, his gaze deep and steady on Ethan, who sat frozen in silence. "Do you understand now?" the old man asked gently. "Each day of your life is like that treasure. Every sunrise brings opportunities to learn, to grow, to change. But opportunities do not wait. Once the day ends, it never returns." Ethan's eyes blurred with tears. In his mind flashed all the days he had wasted, the countless delays, the endless laters, and tomorrows that had never arrived. He saw himself reflected in the poor man from the story. The sage smiled, his voice gentle yet firm. "But for you, Ethan, it is not too late. You are still young. Your treasure is still open. But remember, every sunset that passes takes away an opportunity that will never return." Ethan leapt to his feet, a fire of determination blazing in his eyes. He bowed deeply in gratitude to the wise sage, then ran home with renewed purpose. From that day forward, everything began to change. Ethan was no longer the same boy. When his mother asked for help, he acted immediately, never again saying, "Later, Mom." When teachers gave assignments, he finished them the very same day, sometimes even doing extra to make sure he truly understood. And when opportunities came to learn something new, he no longer hesitated. He seized them with bright eyes and a determined heart. His grades steadily improved. He finally picked up the guitar he had put off for months. At first, the notes were clumsy and broken, but day by day, they grew stronger, more confident, and filled with emotion. Beyond school, he began helping his parents with household chores, cleaning, repairing, lifting burdens from their shoulders. And even more, Ethan started tutoring younger children in his neighborhood, passing on not just knowledge, but the joy of acting without delay. Within just one short year, the boy once known for procrastination became the most punctual and reliable student in the school. His teachers praised him. His parents beamed with pride. His friends admired him, and many even came asking for his secret. Years passed, and Ethan grew into a successful young man. People often asked him the same question: "What is the secret of your success?" Ethan would simply smile, his eyes carrying the weight of experience, and reply, "I learned that time is the only treasure we truly have. Every wasted moment is like throwing away gold." The difference between success and failure isn't always talent or luck. It lies in how we use our time. Never wait until tomorrow to do what you can today, because sometimes tomorrow never comes. And every time Ethan met someone struggling with procrastination, he patiently told them the story of the king's treasure, just as the wise sage had once told him. This story carries a profound truth. Life itself is our treasure. With every sunrise, the gates open wide with new opportunities. Yet most of us live like the poor man in the tale, convinced we have endless time, whispering to ourselves, "I'll do it later. I'll start tomorrow. There's still time." But the harsh reality is this: laziness is the thief of dreams. It doesn't come with a loud warning or an obvious failure. It comes with a sweet whisper, "You can do it later." And slowly, later turns into never. Ethan was fortunate. He received his wake-up call while he was still young. But what about all the others out there, living their whole lives without ever realizing that each passing day is a treasure chest closing forever, never to be opened again? There is a famous saying, "If you value time, time will value you. But if you waste it, time will destroy your life." You can achieve anything if you use your time wisely. But if you squander it, you will lose your chances and live with regret. So think about it. How many times have you ignored what needed to be done? How many times have you delayed your work, promising yourself you would start tomorrow? Each tomorrow you promise is a treasure you chose not to collect today. The beautiful truth is this: unlike the poor man who lost everything, your treasure is still open right now. In this very moment, as you hear these words, the gates are still wide before you. The question is, will you step into it today, or will you lie under the tree, lulling yourself with the lie that there's still plenty of time? Remember this: both the successful and the unsuccessful are given the same 24 hours each day. No more, no less. The only difference is this: one uses it wisely, while the other lets it slip away into nothingness. So I want to ask you, what have you been postponing? What treasure have you left waiting for too long? Write it down in the comments. And more importantly, make a promise to yourself. Start today, not tomorrow, not next week. Today, right now. And never forget this: your treasure is still open, but the sun has already begun its journey across the sky. Don't wait until it's too late to realize what you've lost. Start today, start right now, because the best time to begin has already passed, and the second best time is this very moment. If this story touched your heart, if it made you realize something truly important, please don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend, a loved one, or anyone who needs to hear this message. And if you feel inspired, tap the like button to show your support. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you won't miss more stories that just might change your life.